Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, November 30th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with WWE Smackdown on USA Network, which was taped last Friday at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. The program closed with Jacob Fatu pinning Jey Uso cleanly. As a result of Fatu's win, Solo Sikoa's Bloodline team now holds the advantage over Roman Reigns' original Bloodline for tonight's 5-on-5 War Games match at Survivor Series.
Solo Sikoa realizes
That's what I'm talking about,
4
baby.
hours away.
That's what I'm talking about.
From absolute
You about to take your ass to war. You don't know what's coming, baby.
It's in the new Bloodline
Yeah, let's
night.
go.
Tomorrow night at Survivor Series War Games.
Earlier on the show, during a pre-tape meeting moderated by Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns and CM Punk discussed Punk's involvement in tonight's War Games match. The tension-filled segment began with Heyman telling Reigns that Punk's help was essential to conquering Solo's bloodline, and closed with Punk telling Reigns that in return for his help, the wise man will owe him a favor.
Solo has had us in checkmate since the Friday after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
If we don't accept his help, it's over. In all fairness, if you don't help tomorrow night, and Solo turns back Roman Reigns and puts an end to the bloodline, you're next. Solo is going to come after you. All 5 of them are going to come after you, and not just because of this, because Solo knows you're the threat. I say this respectfully to both of you. Divided, we all fall to Solo. United, at best, we survive.
Universal Champion Cody Rhodes defeated Carmelo Hayes in a non-title affair. Before the match, a Kevin Owens video aired promising to end Rhodes' title reign on December 14th at Saturday night's main event. The first bout of the Women's United States title tournament also took place on SmackDown, with Michin defeating Lash Legend and Piper Niven in a 3-way. Michin now moves on to face the winner of Tiffany Stratton, Elektra Lopez, and Naomi, who face off in another opening round 3-way on next week's show. In his first match on television since April, Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Andrade. After the match, Nakamura blew black mist into the face of United States champion LA Knight, who had come down to the ring to confront him. SmackDown opened with an in-ring promo segment between the participants of tonight's Women's War Games match, which degenerated into a pull-apart brawl. TNA Wrestling was live on TNA Plus Friday night with their Turning Point event from the Benton Convention Center in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The main event of the show saw Nick Nemeth retain the TNA World title, turning back the challenge of Eddie Edwards. 2 other title tilts also took place on the show. X-Division champion Moose retained the title with a win over Laredo Kid, and in a 2 out of 3 falls match, TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich defeated Jordan Grace 2 falls to 1. Other results saw Steve Macklin beat Josh Alexander in a no disqualification match. Mike Santana topped Frankie Kazarian. Joe Hendry won a 6-person Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl match. And in a 6-man tag team match, Ace Austin and the Hardys beat Kushida, Zachary Wentz, and Matt Riddle. Making his TNA debut, Riddle was a surprise replacement for Trey Miguel, who missed the show due to travel issues. Turning to Japan, Day 9 of New Japan Pro Wrestling's World Tag League took place in Shizuoka yesterday with 4 A-block matches. In the main event, Shingo Takagi and Yota Tsuji defeated Callum Newman and Jeff Cobb. Other results saw Chase Owens and Kenta defeat Ryohei Oiwa and Zack Sabre Jr., Gabe Kidd and Sonata beat Shota Umino and Tomoyoki Hanma, and Alex Zane and Raisuke Taguchi knocked off Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. The teams of Newman and Cobb and Goto and Yoshihashi lead A-block with 6 points apiece. Day 10 of the tournament takes place on Sunday in Osaka with the B-block back in action. 3 teams are tied atop that leaderboard with 3 points apiece. And we close with some sad news to report. Longtime Japanese professional wrestler Sunio Inoue, better known as Mighty Inoue, passed away on Wednesday at the age of 75. According to Slam Wrestling, Inoue had been suffering from a heart issue. Born April 12, 1949 in Osaka, Inoue started his wrestling career in July of 1967 for the International Wrestling Enterprise promotion after being trained by Billy Robinson and Hiro Matsuda. Nationally aired over the Tokyo Broadcasting System, Inoue rose through the ranks to become one of the IWE's biggest stars. He won the IWE World Championship on October 7, 1974 after defeating superstar Billy Graham in Kagoshima, Japan. Inoue held the title for 6 months before dropping it to Mad Dog Vachon in April of 1975. While working for IWE in the mid-1970s, Inoue made several trips to Canada in order to work for Montreal's Grand Prix promotion and Stampede Wrestling in Calgary. After the IWE closed in 1981, Inoue moved to All Japan Pro Wrestling, where he became a mainstay of their junior heavyweight division, holding both versions of the company's junior heavyweight title. On February 26, 1984, Inoue defeated Chavo Guerrero to win the International Junior Heavyweight Championship, a title he'd hold for 468 days before losing it to the Dynamite Kid in June of 1985. Then on January 25, 1989, Inoue defeated Joe Malenko to win the now renamed World Junior Heavyweight title, which he held for 42 days before dropping it to Masanobu Fuchi. In addition to his singles titles, Inoue also won the IWE World Tag Team title 6 times with 3 different partners, and won All Japan's All Asia Tag Team title twice with Ashura Hara. After retiring from active wrestling in June of 1998, Inoue stayed active in wrestling by working as a referee, first with All Japan, then with Pro Wrestling Noah after the company split in 2000. Once again, Sunio Inoue, better known as Mighty Inoue, has passed away at the age of 75. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.